FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
Another enormous market is the consumer electronics market. So it's embedded power. And I like to think of this as the semi-portable. So you see an example here of a keyboard. This is something that you can move it around, but generally you don't. You usually put it on your desk and you leave it there. So if it can harvest the light, and in this is one that we designed for a particular company. Along the top surface of this there's actually some of our dye-sensitized solar cell technology in there, and that's actually absorbs the available light and powers the keyboard. Why would you be interested in something like this? Well, the keyboard itself doesn't really use a whole lot of power. It's on the order of a few milliwatts when it's actually active. But in this case, because you're running it from PV, right, photovoltaics, you don't have a battery that you have to change. And this is the #1 complaint with wireless peripherals associated with computers, is that you have to change the battery. And of course, the battery goes dead at the most inopportune time. So this is a real win. The other thing is that because you don't have a AA or AAA battery in this, you can make it much thinner. And so the ecological benefit of not having the battery case, not having the battery, and using less plastic to actually make the device is tremendously appealing, both from a consumer and a manufacturer perspective. So this is what I like to call the semi-portable. And if you look at consumer electronics, a $200 billion industry in 2008, it's huge. The numbers are huge. Just to give you an example, so we show TVs here. The installed base of television sets in the United States is something like 280 million units installed. 280 million. Each one of those TVs draws standby power from the electrical outlet that it's plugged into. And so if you look at all of the standby power that's being drawn by the TV, that's what it's drawing when it's not on. That's when it's just waiting for the user to hit the remote control to turn it on. That's what standby power is. That adds up to 500 million watts, 500 megawatts, which is the size of a good-sized power plant. And that's just one application, television sets, when they're not on. So if we can replace that with an application that is driven by photovoltaics, we take a half a gigawatt, 500 megawatts, off the grid. It's tremendously appealing from a personal and ecological perspective. And that's just television sets. You can think of all of your computer peripherals, all of the other consumer electronics that operate off standby power. Those can all be taken off the grid.